There we go.
That's a fancy one.
Okay, welcome. We're here to talk about the Education and Culture in Morocco program offered by the AAC. My name is Ricky Guzman. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a retention specialist, a coordinator for programs and events, and one of the co-leaders of this program. Expected to depart January 2022. Excited to be here. So thanks, folks, for joining. I'm going to allow other introductions. Diana.
Hi everyone, my name is Diana. I'm a retention specialist in the AEC and our STEM unit, and I'm going to be co-leading this program with Ricky. So I'm excited to be here.
Hi everyone, my name is Drew Doty. I'm an Education Abroad Coordinator in the Office of International Programs. I am managing this program kind of from the logistical side on CSU's end. So if you end up applying for the program, you're going to hear a lot from me between now and January, and maybe a little bit afterwards. Yeah, really excited. I've been working in international education for about 7 years, and faculty-led programs like this one, or staff and faculty-led programs like this one, really are the ones that have my heart most. I think they have the most potential to make a huge impact on your life. So I'm really excited to be here with you, and I hope you'll consider joining this program.
All right, let's talk a little bit about who we have in our group today. So if you are online, if you would like to unmute yourself, maybe give us your name, what you are studying, and if there's somewhere in the world or something you're excited about education abroad. How about that? Something that you're excited about with education abroad. So if you're online, go ahead, jump in. Or if your technology isn't that way, you feel free to use the chat box as well.
I can go first. Hi everyone, my name is Nayeli. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and my major is HDFS with a concentration in early childhood education. And the reason what was the question? If we want to go, why we want to go study abroad? I just want to do it because it sounds fun, honestly. And yeah.
I can go next. Hi, my name is Alicia. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm majoring in political science with a minor in French. And for me, the reason why I want to study abroad is really because I want to travel and see all the cool places, really. So yeah.
Anyone else want to share?
We could also introduce our folks in room A.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Perla. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm studying HDFS, and I'm interested in studying abroad because I think it will be a really enriching experience.
And I am excited today. We have a very special guest joining for our info session. Would you like to introduce yourself? It's you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelsey. I'm studying biomedical science. I went to Morocco last year, January of 2020. Yeah. That was really cool. So I'm just here to share my experience. And if I can, I would like to.
We'll get an opportunity to hear more from okay. Any other
Yeah, I'm going to also share the
different, that's a different major, and was excited. You're welcome. Thanks, Mackenzie.
There might be a little bit of the next slide too. I'll click on there. Yeah. Okay, we're doing a little bit of that. We have a few introduction things here. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I totally did this out of whack. But that's really fine. The thing that I do want to kind of bring up for the group is what are exciting things about studying abroad, but also what are the fears about studying abroad? What kind of concerns do we have when it comes to traveling internationally? Things that hopefully we would be able to address throughout some of our session today. So if there is something, please feel free to unmute yourself or give it a type in the chat box. But yeah, fears or concerns about studying abroad. Mine too.
For me personally, like
Language barriers.
Language.
And our last session, we had talking about airports, like mentioned COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, these are very real aspects that we want to take into consideration. So we'll visit that as we go throughout our session today. So. Okay, next slide for me, Drew. So kind of a little bit about where we are going. We are going to Morocco, country in Northern Africa. So if we're looking at our little map here, Rabat is where this program is going to be hosted. That, if you're looking at the map, it's kind of like the north, right on the coast of that little star there. Capital city of Morocco. It is the second largest city in the country after Casablanca, which is about maybe like an hour and a half away. Rabat being the capital city, it does have a really great mix of modern and kind of traditional elements of Moroccan culture. So you'll see some of the kind of local influence, but also European influence, and just what that looks like in the country. It's where the king lives and the political hub. So we'll kind of see some of that influence within the city as well. The climate in January, when we would be traveling, advertised around 63 degrees, low around 46. So it's more often a little bit chilly than it is hot. I know a lot of folks, they say you go to Morocco and like, was it hot there? And no, it's kind of cold. You need to go. It's usually very comfortable for students with the activities that we're doing. You'll be probably in long pants, long sleeves, and kind of navigating the city that way. You should be comfortable with that. Also the kind of the local style of dress that they do there. So. Kind of a note for the culture for the city. Homes do not usually include indoor heating or cooling for that matter. So the nights can get pretty chilly. So they usually kind of bundle you up for the night and kind of trying to keep things cool and aired out in the day. So families are usually kind of aware of that. We're also going to be going to probably day trips to nearby cities like Casablanca. There's a couple of other sites north that we might take a trip to. But that's kind of where the region that we are anticipating to go. Fun thing about this map, well, I don't know fun, but interesting thing about this map is we do have the country of Morocco, and then south of it is this dotted line and the kind of the territory of Western Sahara. This is kind of an example of something that's a little bit controversial in Morocco. So depending on people's kind of perspectives and political views about this area, it might not necessarily be a great conversation topic with just kind of Moroccan locals, as it could be a little bit political talk about how that territory is. Some extra things about Morocco. This photo, I really like this photo. This is in the Arica Valley in Morocco. I just like it because it's a great example of it is a whole lot more than just desert and dunes. There's beautiful mountains, it's super green in areas. You'll see kind of like just different architecture as you're going throughout the cities. And it's just a whole lot of diversity that kind of goes with that. And that comes from being an intersection of Arab, African, and European culture. Sorry. So Morocco was colonized by the French, so you do see a lot of that influence as well, not only in like architecture, stuff like that, but also within their institutions. So what that looks like. Languages for Morocco are Moroccan Arabic, which is Darija, French, English, and a little bit of Spanish. So if you go north more, next to Spain, you'll get more of that Spanish influence. But you might be able to navigate and get around with some Spanish language skills, which is kind of nice. French is pretty much the second language of Morocco, so folks do navigate pretty commonly with that. And English, Moroccans are quite shy about their English skills, so you can definitely get around and kind of get directions using English, but it might take a little bit of time. Morocco is an Islamic state, so around 99% of Moroccans do identify as Muslim. And so one of the big aspects of this program is to talk about religion and Islam and what that looks like for the culture. We're really fortunate to hear from guest lecturers about some of those things. They're also a monarchy, one of the few monarchies left in the world that actually has the king is both the political and religious leader of the country. He is a little bit of a modern king, so he dresses stylishly with DJ Snake there. He's the one on the left, the king is on the left. His family is kind of a little bit of a celebrity group, so you might see photos of them throughout the city and stuff like that. And he has taken some progressive steps, and so he is generally pretty well respected within the country about his perspective. Cool. All right, so the elephant in the world, COVID-19 precautions. These are some of the examples that they have taken in Morocco. They do have face masks. This was as of the summer when I last talked to the program person over on that side. But they were doing face masks. They had 6 feet social distancing. They're pretty good with hand sanitizers and temperature checks. Everything is open. But there's a curfew at 9 p.m. That's probably not too different from what we would recommend your curfew to be also all in country. Since you will be staying with host families and they might have young kids, that kind of thing, we do recommend trying to like turn in earlier rather than trying to stay out late. But 9 p.m. is kind of a good range there. Taxis and the Karim, which is the Uber of the Arab world, are available. Taxis is a pretty popular mode of transportation. The public transportation, such as like the tramway, was open. Museums and parks and things like that, which we would be visiting, are open. Same with cafes, restaurants, where you're going to be practicing some of your language skills, that would be open. Intercountry travel, which is how we're able to do this, is open. And the vaccines are being distributed in Morocco as well. So we'll kind of see what that rate is like. Yeah. Okay, course overview. I'm gonna let Yana talk about some of what the course is for this.
Yeah, so this program is actually a 1-credit course off of the register form or the into the program. And we have what we call like pre-departure meetings, basically the class. And we are meeting, I want to say like 4 to 5 times before we depart, and then we're meeting 1 time after we but so some of the things to know about what the program is. So the program is basically examining politics, the economy, the history, identity, and culture of the host community. So really understanding history and the political climate, identify cultural and social issues present in the host culture. We're not going to do so much about comparison this year, but it'll still be something that we're talking about. And same with or understanding the role of education a little bit, and understanding so when folks are preparing to come to those classes, we will have a syllabus that will be available to folks, and folks will be able to see like what are the reading requirements before that pre-departure meeting. In our meeting, that's where we're gonna do a little bit of self-reflection, have conversations, really engage in that, like what we're learning about. So we are picking out readings that are going to take out pieces, just to get us really informed and aware so that when we're in country, we're really being mindful and engaging in what we're learning about, how we're showing up, how we're showing up with the local families, and just really being able to engage in conversations while we're there. And then we'll also have a final presentation once we come back, and this will be the final grade that will be part of the course. And so again, I will have a syllabus that will provide all that information, a timeline, all the requirements, that's a little bit about the course. Do folks have any questions about the class? Oh yeah, we have a bit more. Let me actually. Oh yes, so. Thank you, Drew. So we are requiring for folks to attend those pre-departure meetings because we're not having them allow them to start meeting after this month. When folks are admitted, it will happen pretty quickly. We'll hear from us when folks are admitted, and we'll want to meet right away. We're going to be meeting bi-weekly, so we'll have about like 5 meetings. And so right now we have those dates set, but if folks are not able to attend due to their class schedule, we'll try to do our best to move it around so everyone can go and attend, but these will be in person. These won't be requiring folks to attend. They'll be about an hour and a half. We'll also have some of those meetings to talk a little bit about getting ready to go, some of the important pieces to know, and then we'll have folks also be remote to continue the engagement from the classroom, and those will be part of your grade as well. And then we'll have a post-it meeting going through the final presentation. Did I miss anything?
No.
Anything that you want to add, Drew, about the pre-departure meetings and your role in that as well?
Yeah, I'll be showing up more for like logistical things. There's a lot of paperwork that you have to do to get ready to go abroad. We're also going to have a health and safety meeting as one of those, where you'll meet with CSU's doctor on call, who kind of helps support people who are going abroad. She's going to show up and just kind of talk to you about different health considerations, ways to keep yourself safe, things like that. And you know, other than that, you know, you'll hear from me mostly over email.
Yeah. Awesome. So that's a little bit about the course. Any questions from folks in the room or folks online? Or Kobe, I don't know if you want to share anything about your class experience.
I just like going to I got to know the people I was going with. So I don't know, when I travel, I like to know people I'm with, so I know how they function and stuff like this. Right? So I would recommend going to those meetings and not missing any of them. So you get to know them and you know how they are and you know how you are. So you can stay with for like 13 hours flight, you know. Who's not gonna annoy you. So yeah.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. I mean, a lot of time during the pre-departure meetings together because you are coming together. You want to make sure folks are moving really engaged in conversations and services and folks in your process. What's really important. You need all three will be community. Oh yes, it was campus. So our course is actually going to be on campus. So once folks are in, you're going to get invited to that campus course show, and that's where we're going to have you all submit assignments, or submit meetings available. That's where you'll get trained. All those pieces. That's where you'll also get that presentation.
So a little bit about your stay in Morocco. So I did mention this earlier. Students will be staying in homestays. We have been able to work that out with our Morocco partners. So you can stay homestays with local Moroccan families. We're going to try and pair you up. There is a potential that if there are odd numbers, that a student might be paired up on their own. But this is a really excellent opportunity to just get to know the culture and kind of be immersed into it for these few days that you're there. The families are super sweet. They are so excited to have you and to have students in there. They will help you with practicing your darija. They will cook for you. They will also have Wi-Fi available in the homestays for you. So the homes do combine like kind of Western and traditional Moroccan elements. And the families are typically multilingual. So they can English and have some English practicing skills. And again, she mentioned that they each other too. On the right side here, you'll see some photos. This would be like a kind of a traditional Moroccan salon where this is like a living room where you sit around and chat with friends and family. And maybe that table has a big old tray of Moroccan tea in the middle of it. It's a perfect place that if you're just kind of hanging out with family or something like that, you totally just kind of crash out right on the couch and stay the night with them. So super warm, open, welcoming spaces like that. Kind of an example of like a bedroom. We'll make sure you have separate beds and kind of accommodations for that so that you are comfortable in your stay. For the meals, most meals are included within the program. So say, for example, students will have breakfast with your host families. That could generally mean some kind of pastry or something like that. Or if your family is cooking for breakfast, you might experience some of that. So you have breakfast with your host family before you take off for class. Lunches, many of them are provided. So a lot of the lunches in which we are having lunch together as a group, that would be covered. But on days in which we kind of set you free to go have lunch on your own with your friends and such, those lunches would be covered by the student. If we are on excursion or something like that and doing group lunches that way, again, those would be covered that way too. Same thing with dinners. If we are having dinner together, we would definitely kind of cover those dinners. But for the most part, the dinners with your host family are first of all, are great. My host family, I also stay with the host family. Wonderful cook, excellent way to experience a lot of different kind of meals that I never even knew existed. A lot of olives, those are good too. So most dinners are included or provided by your host family. Fun fact is that Moroccans actually have 4 meals a day. The 4th meal is tea time, which is right after lunch and before dinner. Dinner is usually quite late in the evening. Usually you have that tea time, which is like you have like kind of a sweet and tea, and then right after dinner you go to bed. So keep them there. Next up. Okay. So here's some program highlights. So just as a general kind of timeline, we're still piecing together what some of the itinerary is going to look like for you. Flying out January 2nd, there is a group flight with this program. So Drew's going to talk more about this, but we are able to already pay for the flight, and then you can use your financial aid towards paying for that flight, which is pretty darn cool. And it also means that we travel together as a group. So you don't have to worry about navigating the airport all on your own. We're going to be traveling together and sitting together and just supporting throughout that process. We'll do an orientation with our Morocco partners. So this photo on the far left here, that's actually our orientation dinner. This is a time which you get to meet the staff, and also the staff will tell you about your host family, who you are staying with, kind of fun facts about them. So let's say, for example, like you're staying with Salima and Karim. They have 2 kids. Karim works as a police officer, Salima is a teacher, that kind of thing. And they give you the details about who you're staying with. There will be roundtable discussions with cultural peers. So these are usually Moroccan students, other students just like you in Morocco, studying a variety of topics. So maybe something similar to what you are studying. These folks are prepared to chat with you about anything and everything. What is it like to be Moroccan? What are the taboo topics? It's just kind of your opportunity to really dig in and hear some honest conversations. We will start just about every single day with a beginner Arabic language class. You do not need any prior Arabic experience. We will start that up for you. Just kind of good things of how to introduce yourself, how to talk about hobbies, how to order coffee at the cafe, good fun things like that. And we will practice together as well. We'll have some guest lectures on special topics, things like Islam, things like Arab Spring and Moroccan education, what that looks like. We will tour some of the sites on here and get the Moroccan perspective on what these ancient ruins are, what these universities are doing, and just kind of really good insider info there. Tours around other sites. We will do some volunteering community service kind of outreach stuff with a local primary school. So you can see Rachel on the far right picture there. We're making some crafts with students, which is a fun time. We do hope to do some day trips to nearby cities to see what those cities also offer, how it's different, what's kind of the perspectives there. We'll probably end every single day with a group conversation, reflecting things that you learned throughout the day, things that came up. Yeah, really kind of focus on that support and kind of recapping throughout the days. Go to our markets, learn local crafting, mosaic stuff, pottery, weaving, all that cool stuff. We'll also give you a good amount of free time for exploring and shopping. If we did hear that quite a bit from last trip, that we want more free time. We want more experiences just to hang out and explore. And the Medina is a great place to do that. The Medina is the old section of the city. So kind of think of it like Old Town for the city. And many of the Moroccan homestays are in the Medina. So it's kind of like you're staying in Old Town. You go outside and you're faced with all the shops and kind of restaurants and stuff like that, just completely around you. So it's an awesome place to be staying. Then our return flight is expected on January 15th, where we will depart and just in time for the spring semester. Yeah. Program eligibility, so some things to keep in mind. There is a minimum 2.5 GPA. If that is a concern for you, please be in touch with us, myself or Diana, so that we can keep in mind for that. But we do want to make sure that there's no academic relation concerns within that. You do need to be an active AAC student, so make sure to do your meetings, make sure to kind of keep up to date with us. Good disciplinary standing, so there can't be any issues with the university so that we can go travel. Other considerations, Morocco is vegetarian friendly. We do collect allergy and kind of dietary information as we prepare for the program. One note is that I would say is that Morocco really loves bread. They love their carbs and that kind of thing. So if you do have a gluten sensitivity, please be in touch because we want to make sure this program is comfortable for you. Walking is required through a good chunk throughout the city. Transportation is again mainly via the tramway or taxi. You cannot walk around, but for all of our our group kind of trips and stuff like that, we have a bus. We'll take a bus around and yeah, get around that way and travel together. All right, pass it over to you. Cool. All right, how do I get to the website? Which one? Oh, we can close the share here. So Joe's going to take us through some website items, and we can talk about what the application is like. Ah, it's easy. There is. I created a bit.ly, so hopefully this works. It's thinking about it. Haha.
All right, hi everyone. Oh, it's not.
We got you.
There we go. All right, everyone. So if you haven't already seen it, this is the program page for this program, where there is a ton of information for you to check out kind of in your own time. A lot of the stuff that we've already talked about today so far is here as well. One thing I just wanted to point out, you're going to see the dates listed in several different places on our website. And it's saying January 3rd to the 15th, which is really, those are the dates in country. I said your flight's actually probably going to leave on the 2nd. So just know there's a little added time for that. But I'd really like to point out on our program pages where you can find out information about the cost. So we've built this really comprehensive budget sheet here under the cost and funding tab, where there's truly no hidden costs. We've tried to estimate everything that you might possibly need to spend on this trip, and we've included it here. Up at the top, you're going to see the billable subtotal. This amount, this is what's going to show up on your student account. You go on this program. Everything below that, these are estimated expenses that things that we think you might need to pay for. We just don't know exactly how much you'll end up spending. So we estimate it here so that you can use your financial aid towards it. This financial aid is going to look at this total number down. That also includes personal spending money too. So I don't know about you all, but that's a really big dollar amount to me. And so I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. One, this program is going to be lumped into your spring course load. So if you have financial aid that you're using, you can use it as a part of your spring coursework. We have 2 financial aid coordinators in our office who specialize in education abroad. So if you meet with them, you can schedule an appointment with them by clicking this link right here below the budget. They can pull up your financial aid profile, let you know what money you can use to pay for the program, what money you can't, and they can talk to you about some alternatives to help fill any gaps that you might have. We also have several scholarships available through our office, some that have like really big dollar amounts that could potentially fully fund your program. So I'll talk to you about that in just a minute, but all of this is to say, while the program costs a lot of money, there are ways to get that paid for. And also, we've worked really hard to eliminate a lot of the fees that CSU normally would put on programs like this. So there's no application fee. We're not taking an education abroad fee, things like that. So we're trying to reduce costs as much as possible for you. So we're not trying to gouge you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so for, more or less a 2-week program to Morocco, this is actually a really amazing price. Like you'd be hard to book your own trip by yourself for that. Yeah. As far as we're concerned, yes. You have to Ricky and Deanna. Do you have? One day. Yeah. The other thing, while we're here, just wanted to show you that the airfare is included in this program. Not many education abroad programs in the world have that as an option. And we got a really good deal on flights because we were able to take advantage of some COVID pricing earlier in this year. So you will all fly together. So if you're nervous about airports or traveling during COVID, you're going to be with a group and your 2 program leaders, so you don't have to do it alone. Oh, yeah. This is roughly estimated, but it's very, very close. So more or less, we're not going to increase it too much on you from here. We've confirmed, our partners on the ground, we've got a firm price from them. The only thing that might change, honestly, I would say your billable, this number right here, that is set in stone. That's not going to change. It's kind of more like your personal expenses. You might choose to bring $150 or $400, whatever, that might make the amount go up. If you already have a passport, obviously you don't need to go get another one unless it's expired. Which while we're talking about passports, I'm just going to put up like right now, passport processing times are 18 weeks to get a new one. So if you don't have a passport, or if your passport is expired or is going to expire, please renew that right now. This week or next week, get on it. And you'll need to do the expedited processing time for it. Yep. Yes. Yeah, that's a great segue to scholarships. I'm going to go to our homepage. So if you just click this education abroad at the top, it takes you to our general homepage, where there's also a ton of resources for you. This is interesting. It looks different. Okay. Yeah. So if you go to the Students tab and then click Financial Aid and Scholarships, it's going to give you a bunch of information about how to use your financial aid abroad, but also you can click this Scholarships tab where we have the Education Abroad Common Scholarship application. Super important. On September 15th, your application for scholarships are due, which is also the date that your application to this program is due. You apply through that previous website that I was just on. This common scholarship application opens you up to 27 different scholarships that we house in our office, but it's just one application that you have to submit, and we'll award you money based on which ones you're eligible for. It also makes you eligible for the Global Access Award, which I'll let Diana talk a little bit more about, because that's a big one for you all for this program. I highly recommend you.
Okay, Global Access Award. Well, if there's anything about this, any questions about the Common Scholarship application or the program website before we transition over to that? Okay, we have a slide on the Global Access Award.
Oh, we do.
Okay. There we go. Just click right there. There we go. So, continuing on, financing. So, as you said, most federal, state, and institutional financial aid can be used for education abroad. So that includes student loans. That includes your partnership award if you're in community for excellence. Yeah, all kinds of great things. There's a noise happening. Let's get to the next slide. The Global Access Award.
Oh.
Can you stop share and then new share? Oh yeah, new share. And then click on the PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
computer's so different than mine.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So let's see if we can get the next one. Cool. So Global Access Award, we just did an information session. So folks, if you're able to join, thank you so much for joining. We appreciate it. This is an award available only for AAC students and students in Community for Excellence. This would award up to $3,000 specifically towards an education abroad experience. So if you're thinking about that budget sheet that Drew just shared about like 3,400 something from your billable subtotal, $3,000 right off the top of that, that means you only have to use about 400 something to cover the remaining expenses, which is a deal. We can make that work. You must be a first generation student to receive the award. You must be eligible for the tuition assistance grant, active participant, just like for the program itself. And you do need to meet with a financial aid coordinator for education abroad. So that's Cindy Maris and or Evelyn Martinez before the scholarship deadline. So I'll put this out here. As well as meet with Drew. You will need to meet with the education abroad coordinator so that we can talk about the program and get that all set up. The session is old. That was Wednesday. That was yesterday. The Global Access Award does have a community dialogue event, which is a reflective kind of event before departure, where you're talking about identity. What does it mean to be a first-gen student abroad? What does it mean to be a student of color traveling abroad? We get to have that great conversation. There's also a suitcase stories event. So that's when you come back, sharing your perspectives, your experience of, everything that you went through within the program. So that would also be available for Global Access Award winners. So if you have questions about that, please communicate with me. I am happy to discuss through all that. The application for the Global Access Award is the same one as the Common Scholarship application that Drew had mentioned. So it's a pretty straightforward application, three essays long. I do encourage you to be very thoughtful in those essay responses because this award can be competitive. A lot of students are excited about traveling again. So help us out in kind of making those decisions because we want to hear why you would be a great applicant for that. Cool. Next step. All All right, important dates. So as Drew mentioned, the final program application deadline is September 15th. The Education Abroad Common Scholarship Common Application deadline is also September 15th. So mark it on your calendar, set an alarm, have a good breakfast that day, all those good things. Make sure that all those applications are done on that date or before that date. Ooh, and especially your meetings with Education Abroad and financial aid. Yeah, questions for our group and questions for our participants in the program. We would love to hear anything that's kind of out there, or if you have questions for Cosila as a previous participant of the program, yeah, let us know. We can close that screen now. We can.
I have a quick question. Despite the financial aid for me and deadline, how is it?
Yeah, so from the program website that Drew had mentioned, there is a link there that you can use to schedule with the financial aid coordinators. Fun fact, they use the exact same scheduler that the AAC uses. So if you navigate, you can schedule up with them just like you do with your retention specialist, find the day and time that works, and you go chat with them. There's 2 of them that are available specifically for education abroad. So that link will get you on their calendars. It'll direct you.
It's just one in the drop-down menu. It'll say financial aid for education abroad, and that's going to pull up both of their calendars, and whoever's got the most availabilities. There is one other scholarship I wanted to mention because it's a big chunk of money. It's the Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship. It doesn't go through the common scholarship application, so it would be another application you have to submit, but it's not due till October 1st. It's a nationally competitive scholarship, but we've had a really high success rate getting CSU students funding through it. And they recently took away the program length requirement. So it used to be that the program had to be 21 days in length for it to be eligible. And they took that away now. So this program now qualifies for the Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship, and you can get funding up to $5,000 for an education abroad program. So definitely something to consider if you're interested in it. You can find more information on that scholarships page on our website.
Any questions from our folks online? Feel free to unmute yourself or post in the chat. Now maybe you can have share a little bit about your experience.
Let's see.
Yes.
What did you enjoy most about this experience?
I really like staying with the family because you get to learn a lot instead of just staying at a hotel or something like that. So like you said, they were just really early, like mine was like most moms were like 4 a.m. to make us tea and breakfast. And it was really weird because I was wake up at 4 a.m. for me, you know. But this is how they express their love and affection for you. So that was really cool. And the language too. I thought there would be more language barriers, but they can speak like a little bit of English, and then I used Google Translator to talk to them if I had to like say some word that I didn't know or say some word that they didn't know in English. But I really enjoyed it. That's why I asked if a graduate student can go again because I already graduated from CSU and Ricky said, yeah, maybe not. Can't go. So I'm here to brag. But I would do it again. Like if I could, I would. It was a really good learning experience and just to experience the culture that's so different from here. Like I don't know, it just makes you think about how much we take for granted, like in America and stuff like that. So and the culture shock too, like the culture they have there, the way their day-to-day lives are led and the way we live here, the way we eat food, the way we talk to each other, the way our relationships with our neighbors, all that is so different there. And you just get to see a different part of life and in a different part of the world. Do it. It's nice. I would recommend it.
Any other questions? I think you bring up a good point before. Sorry, that for questions and then I jumped in. I think folks also were like wondering about like language resources before going. And we don't have it in place for folks, so we encourage folks to use stuff on their own as well. I know you had mentioned Duolingo as an app that's free that could be helpful for folks to practice on their own in preparation.
It's like a game that you play on your phone and it's teaching you the language. So it like motivates you to actually do it because it's not just memorization. Yeah.
Someone has a question on would it take second semester or no, or no study? I think it's 1 month.
Yeah, you won't have your GPA yet.
So the cumulative of like we're kind of as of spring.
Yep.
Or summer.
Yep.
Does that help answer the question? Any other things that folks want to add? Okay.
We will continue to be available throughout these next couple of weeks if you do have questions about the program. So come chat with Diana or myself. We'll be happy to talk through all the details of it if you are curious about it. Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to offer this program just really centered in student support, and we will help you throughout every step of the way. So from the application process, financing it, getting ready to go, and then of course when we come back and have our post-trip meeting as well. We want to make this a good full circle moment for you all. That I can really get a lot out of.
Well, thank you all for being here. Let us know if you have any questions through your process and application for the scholarship and the program. You can email myself, Vicky, or Drew. I don't have my contact info on here, but we're going to follow up and so